Is this the end of everything as we know it? Recently, there was a video that made it to the top viewed videos of all time on YouTube. A lot of content creators that I follow, and even a lot that I don't, have been talking about this because it's very concerning. We are talking about AI now making its way into the top charts of YouTube views. And we're not talking about just today. We're not talking about this week or this month. We are talking about all time views. 427 million views. So this video that has hit the top of the charts is basically about an AI pug saving an AI baby on a plane. It's completely made with AI. It looks super fake, by the way. But it is concerning that it's gotten this many views and this many likes and is, at the top of the charts. And a lot of people are worried what this means for the future of YouTube, for the future of content creators like myself, for the future of humanity, to be honest with you. Obviously, I think a lot of people can still tell that something like this is fake. AI right now tends to have this sheen to it. It's kind of a bit of like a filter to it that makes it look really shiny and not real. Although, the creepy thing is that is also the thumbs that tend to get the most clicks are the ones that also have that shine, which is telling as to what kind of content people like to click. But, let's ignore the fact of all of the kind of AI, kind of unrealistic looking faces and thumbnails and what that might imply, and just talk about the matter at hand here. So I think the biggest problem with AI isn't actually so much that AI is going to ruin our workforce, although that is a very concern because a lot of people, although that is a very real concern because a lot of people will be out of jobs. But it's more of the idea of what it is actually doing to our preferences, what it is actually doing to our brain, how a video like this that looks so fake could actually get so many views, so many clicks, so much engagement, so many likes. It's concerning, right? And what I'm really worried about right now is that our brains are being programmed to prefer this type of content. Who is the most susceptible? The people that interact with AI, but I'm not talking about an AI tool here or there. I'm talking about the people that their whole lives have kind of become AI because we don't have any restrictions. We don't have any controls on this right now. And I think that's the biggest problem with AI because there are no laws to protect our brains from AI content. The whole idea with technological advancements back when they started to become a thing, well, obviously everyone was still worried at that time and during the Industrial Revolution of losing their jobs, but the whole fantasy of them, I think, has always been this idea of automating tasks that are, more monotonous so that we as humans can really pursue what we want to be doing with our lives. We can, get into more creative or philosophical pursuits. We can advance as a species and really open up our brains to all the possibilities of what we're capable of now that we have removed a time constraint for something that is monotonous, for something that consumes our time in a way that is not helpful to our advancement. And yet, that is not what we are seeing happen. It's interesting because although AI is being used in that capacity, it seems like something that a lot of people are eager to use AI for is actually doing the stuff that we once dreamed automation would free our minds to do. Now, there are uses for language learning models for AI, I think, in the world. I don't think AI is actually inherently evil. I'm not one of those content creators that I think AI should be wiped from the planet and there's no use for it. I think there's actually a lot of really great uses for AI. It could be used as a tool to assist us to handle stuff that is just not as interesting or not as important for us to focus on when it comes to tasks. It could advance us, especially in the medical sector. Even creatively, I think there are applications for it. Like if you want to do generative fill is something that, my editor uses for things like thumbnails. And I think that's actually a very useful tool. I don't think everyone's going to want to use that tool, but I think it is useful for people that see the power in it and that are just like, I don't like to fill myself. So generative fill, it's got me. You know what I mean? But what AI is doing, where the problem comes in, it's not actually the technology itself that I think is the problem. It's kind of us that's the problem. And our laziness might end up being the thing that does us in. With AI, people seem to be more excited about the idea of not ever having to really try or put in effort for things, and instead just learn how to do AI prompts, and then, you can have the AI write an entire book for you or make an entire piece of art. And some of these people also claim that, they themselves are artists or writers because they have used AI to do this for them, because they are the ones that wrote the prompt. So basically, they wrote the book, which is not really the way that writing works, but that's the mentality that some people have here, is that it's removing the restrictions, it's removing the gatekeeping that is around making art. And so this is something that is freeing them. This AI tool is allowing them to become artists. The thing is that being an artist, part of the fun and part of the sadness of being an artist is actually the struggle, is actually the challenge, is actually learning. Learning and failing is also a huge part of art in my experience. You really can't succeed if you haven't failed. And so when you remove all of the legwork, you actually take away from not only your experiences as an artist, but also your ability to evolve as an artist. And I think in many fields, failing is actually what makes us successful. So it's important to fail. So when you remove the idea of what failing is, because every time the AI just does it for you and you say good enough, you're not really challenging yourself and you're not really going to evolve or level up anything that you're creating. And the danger here is that when you use AI, it is actually making you more inherently lazy. It's not even just that us as humans yearn to kind of be lazy, but I do think that is also part of it. I think as humans, we just want to relax, which kind of makes sense because a lot of people have also worked really hard and are working really hard right now, so I get it. But AI actually changes our brains. There have been studies on this that show that AI using it makes you more lazy. The Times recently did an article where they talked about a study where it was examining different ways that people were writing essays. And so they got a group to write with ChatGPT, they got a group to write using Google search and doing research through Google search, and then they got a group that wrote with nothing. They just had to use their brains and come up with something. And based on this study, here's what they found. Let me just read you a little snippet from this article from The Times. This article, by the way, is written by Andrew R. Chow, and I'll put a link to it in the video description and in the pinned comment if you want to read it yourself. I definitely recommend giving it a read. The article says, the study divided 54 subjects, 18 to 39-year-olds from the Boston area, into 3 groups and asked them to write several SAT essays using OpenAI's ChatGPT, Google's search engine, and nothing at all, respectively. Researchers used an EEG to record the writer's brain activity across 32 regions and found that of the 3 groups, ChatGPT users had the lowest brain engagement and consistently underperformed at neural, linguistic, and behavioral levels. That is a direct quote. Over the course of several months, ChatGPT users got lazier with each subsequent essay, often resorting to copy and paste by the end of the study. And I don't want to name any names here, but all I'll say is that I have seen firsthand what ChatGPT will do to your work ethic, what it will do to your brain, because I have been in places where it was suggested that, that's a tool that you could use. Now, I personally don't like using ChatGPT. I just don't find it to be accurate, and I don't find it to be a great tool personally. I think there are uses for it, so that's not me saying, if you use it, oh, that's bad. It's just something that I prefer. And I did watch people that were more open to using it and used it regularly, daily, in fact, multiple times daily, and watched how they too devolved into this place where they copy and paste it. So I've seen this firsthand. This isn't just something that's in a study. This is reality. I've seen it happen. And let's go back to that, pug saving the baby video, which, like I said, it looks super fake, right? I think it's very obvious that this is AI. I think a lot of people are gonna know it's AI. So what, should we really be that afraid? Sure, it made it to the top of the charts, but people are probably rage watching it. Let's just take a look at the comments and see how that's going, okay? Let's just get some comments as an example. So if we go to the top comments on the video, newest comment, cute you. Okay, well that sounds kind of positive. Next comment, W video. Uh-oh, that's not good. Where'd that baby get that par suit? Mom threw the baby out. Also, people don't know how, a hole in an airplane would affect, I feel like, cabin pressure, which is also a very big concern for me. The fact that I might be on a plane with some of these people makes me a little worried. YouTube is cooked. Possibly. It might be true. The AI short is beautifully done. It truly tugs the heartstrings. I also craft emotional AI reels. Okay, that's enough of your self-promo. I have so many problems with so many of these comments. There are people that in these comments legitimately think it's real. That, combined with the fact that there are so many people that want to make this content in the comments, makes me nervous. Although, sure, there are still a lot of comments that clearly know this is fake, that are clearly calling it fake, that are saying anyone that thinks it's not fake is foolish and they should all know it's fake. But there are people that are legitimately, I think, being fooled by this. Although some of them, I'm sure, are just posting for the lols. I think the fact that so many people want to make content like this too kind of points to something that I would like to highlight, which I think with AI content, the concern for me is that right now, I think we're okay. Obviously, a lot of people know this is fake. They shouldn't have watched it. They shouldn't have engaged with it because they're actually promoting a video and making it pop more, which only makes people more inclined to make this kind of content. So I would also say to you, if you see something like this, please try to resist the urge to rage comment, rage engage, rage click. Don't click the video, scroll away from the video. Tell YouTube to not show you that content if you don't like it. Don't engage with it. It promotes it. Even if you downvote it, it promotes it. But the other concern is that right now, people can tell the difference. People know this is dumb. People are engaging with it out of spite. But we are on a timer because there are a lot of people that grew up in a time where we didn't have this kind of technology. But there are people who are literally born, who are born today, who will grow up with this tech at their fingertips. And it will invade every facet of our life if we do not take action now to try to encourage people to invest in themselves, in their own skill sets, and to try to encourage people that are in charge of this big, wild ball of rock that we're on to make changes, to create legislation, to at least somewhat control this type of technology so that it doesn't invade all of our minds and create this compulsion for us to just use AI for everything because it's easier. This is important because right now we have the time. A lot of people are still here that never even grew up with this technology and who have the capacity to think for themselves. But as people are born and grow up with this, it's going to be easier and easier for people to just use AI to do everything and become more lazy as time goes on. Not because they are the younger generation. This isn't about me looking down on younger generations. Younger generations are our future. And I think there's a lot that we can also learn from youth. But what I worry about is what this type of technology can do to those younger generations' brains, especially as when you're younger, your brain is even more malleable. It's still being shaped, it's still being molded. So that's even more concerning what it'll do to them if it's already corrupting the minds of people that are, you know, what was the top age bracket? 39 years old. If it can corrupt a 39-year-old, you bet it can corrupt an infant. And it's very concerning because AI is invading schools. People are celebrating at their graduation the fact that they graduated because they got AI to help them with their final assignments and exams. It's horrifying. I want to remain optimistic here. And so the silver lining to me is that I do think as well that there will always be a market for human-made art, for human-made content, because when you saturate the market with things like AI, now everyone can make this stuff. Everyone can make content. Everyone can make videos like that. However, that means that everything will be at this same AI level. And sure, the AI will level up over time, but it will never be able to do what humans can do. At least, I mean, I don't think it will be able to. I'm only one person, but I hope that if there's anything this video did for you today, it encouraged you to engage with human-made art, and it encouraged you to sit down and just take some time to self-reflect on how you feel about the world and what you think of things around you. Critical thinking is important. Please, let's not let it die out. That's all for this one, guys. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Take care of those brains inside this noggin you got. Those little thought noodles that we have. And be kind to people out there. Because if they're consuming this constantly, it's going to affect them. So you need to keep that in mind. Let's all just try to be kind to each other. That's it. Bye.